Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Project Veterans Voices. I'm your host, AJ Cox, and today we're having one heck of a veteran story. But before we get into that, if you are enjoying these, then make sure you go hit up the new website. That's the Lost Art Project, veteranvoices.org. We are now a nonprofit. You can go in there. There's a couple of ways you can help support us if you want to do that. But just remember, we are a nonprofit now, and we are moving, doing, shaking, and doing all the time, all the things that we need to do for that. So very proud of that. A big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project out there doing some amazing things. If you don't know anything about them, go check them out. Even if you do, go back and check them out again. I'm telling you, it's a great organization. If you can help them in any way, it'd be much appreciated. You can find them at tillvalhallaproject.com.
Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps veteran service organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member.
All right, here we are. Got my special guest, Anthony Price, the token squid, Navy veteran. Man, it's good to have you, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me. This is really awesome. You know, you're just talking about the Marine Corps League, and I get to start by saying, you know, token squid came from the Marines.
Yeah.
No. This is let me just tell you, it's a true story.
Okay.
Actually, come to think of it, all my stories are true stories. This is a very true story. A friend of mine, Lieutenant Colonel Bob Stephenson, retired United States Marine Corps, hosts a casual Marine birthday party November 10th every year in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. And he's been doing it, I think, since 2001.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a while. I could have that year wrong. But I have been attending the Marine Corps casual birthday party, which is in a bar, because you know the Marines started in a bar.
Yeah.
So it should be in a bar. Anyway, I think I've been going to it now 13 years straight.
Oh, wow.
I've been there 13 years in a row. And about I think it was about 6 or 7 years ago, there's a local radio station here in the Twin Cities had a morning show that was hosted by a guy named Tom. And it was a classic rock radio show. And I had been on, he'd interviewed me to talk about the stuff that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. I've been on the radio with him. So he knew who I was. And Lieutenant Colonel Bob Stephenson called me on the phone and he said, "Hey, can you get me on that morning show?" And I said, "No, I'm lucky I can get on it when I can get on it. I don't get to." Anyway, he just calls in the request line, the listener request line.
Yeah.
And he got through and he's having a conversation with Tom on the air. So they're live on the air. He's talking over the phone and he's telling everybody how wonderful the Marine birthday party is and how everybody's invited. And then out of nowhere, he says, "Well, Tom, you know Tony, don't you?" And Tom says, "Well, yeah, I know Tony. We've interviewed him here on the program. We talked some. I know Tony." "Yeah, Tony's going to be there. He's our token squid." And as a coincidence, I happened to be listening that day.
Yeah.
Listening to the radio program, and I get out my phone and I send a text message to Tom, the disc jockey on the radio announcer. Because I didn't know how much longer these guys were going to be talking anyway. Anyway, I sent him a text message that said, "Oh, great. Now I'm reduced to token squid." And Tom read the text message to Bob on the air. So that's where the road name Token Squid comes from. The Marines gave it to me. Just in case you're a little bit curious where the term squid comes from, because there might be a couple people don't know.
There might be. Yeah. Go ahead.
Squid is a derogatory term that we use to describe anyone who served in the United States Navy.
True statement. Yeah.
It's supposed to be derogatory. I have never felt that it was derogatory. I have always thought that it was a term of endearment.
That's right.
I've always loved being called a squid. Then I road name Token Squid.
I love it. You know, the Marine Corps just adopts every time somebody comes up with a bad name for us. We just go along with it.
Oh yeah.
Jarhead, Leatherneck. I mean, it goes on, and we just go, okay, yeah, that's us. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. It's the way
Anyway, it
goes,
was good to start with the Marine Corps connection.
Yeah.
Connection.
Yeah. I love it. Well, shoot, man, let's go back, talk a little bit about like where you grew up, what was that like, and then talk about military service.
I you should ask my mother this question. My dear mother is 94 and a half years old.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And she still lives in the house that my father built by her. She lives there by herself.
Wow.
Lives there by herself. Anyway, my dad passed away about 3 years ago. But that house that my father built is in a little teeny tiny town in southern Minnesota. It's about 6 miles from the Iowa state line. And when I was growing up there were about 100 people living in that town. If you go by there today, I think the population says there wasn't even a population on the sign when I grew up.
Yeah.
And now I think the population says 120 or something like that. It's a small.
That's a pretty small town.
So, yeah, you see this studio here? This was the size of the entire grocery store.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the entire grocery store. We were a big enough town to have a separate grocery store and post office.
Oh, okay.
They were not the same. The grocery store clerk was not also the postmaster. But a little teeny tiny town, and I grew up with completely impatient, couldn't wait to get out.
Yeah.
Couldn't wait to get out of there. But I didn't know where I didn't really have a plan, didn't have any place to go or anything like that. I tried college for a couple minutes. That didn't go over very well. And then I moved up to Minneapolis, St. Paul area, which is 100 miles away. And I started working as an entertainer. I had a mobile disc jockey outfit. And
oh, wow.
I remember one day, went back to mom and dad's house, sitting at the kitchen table. Incidentally, I have 12 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
So I'm the ninth one. So I'm stuck right smack in the middle. And my mother loves to tell the story that there were 13 kids. She gave birth to 13 children. Wow. There was only one that was witnessed by my father, and that was me. I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure he walked into the delivery room with a cigarette dangling from his lips. Pretty sure. Not positive, but pretty sure. He actually got lost in the hospital, didn't know which door he was going through, and he walked in by accident at the moment that I popped into the world. Anyway, that's that cute little anecdote. Anyway, I was working in the Twin Cities as an entertainer, playing music. I'd go to parties and wedding dances and bar mitzvahs and just you name it. If there was a cause to play music, I would get hired to go play music at that event. I did that for a handful of years, and then I decided that I came along. I was 24 years old, and I decided, I should find a way to gain some discipline. Well, I guess I'm going to have to join the military. Yeah. Just what better way is there to get discipline than the military? And I said, can't be a Marine. Those guys work too hard. Said the Air Force. Let's go to the Air Force. And I went and talked to the Air Force recruiter, and he said, "You can't get in the Air Force on a wish and a prayer, buddy. You've been in too much trouble for too long." By the time I'm talking to the recruiter, I already experienced, multiple days in the county clink. Yeah. I experienced all the stuff you're not supposed to do in a polite society. Anyway, so the Air Force just said, no way. You're just not coming in here. Yeah. And I looked at the Army and I just said, I just don't look good in green. I can't wear those colors. And this was in the 80s. So, green was their color. Right. And again, as I mentioned, the Marines worked way too hard. I wasn't going to have anything to do with the Marines. So I didn't know that the Coast Guard existed.
That does make sense. Yeah, I
I
mean,
was
for
so
where you were.
naive. Well, we're landlocked up here in
Yeah.
Minneapolis, right? I mean, we're
Uh-huh.
1,500 miles from an ocean.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter which ocean you're talking about. We're 1,500
True.
miles away.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I never heard of the Coast Guard, and I never heard of Navy SEALs either.
Huh.
I didn't. Somebody said Navy SEALs. I what? You train some SEAL to go oy, 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 bounce a ball on his nose. That's what I thought a Navy SEAL was, trained
Yeah.
by the Navy. Because I knew they had a band. Not that
Hmm.
I could be in the band, but I knew
Yeah.
that all the branches of the military had a band. So
Right.
when somebody said Navy SEAL, I thought they were talking about the little sea creature that eats fish and bounces balls on its nose.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Navy said that they would let me in, but I had to have something like 9 waivers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And to this day, I'm not really sure what a waiver is, but I got 9 of them, and they got all signed, and they became part of my military record.
Did they even tell you what the waivers were for, or they just said,
Well,
"Oh,
they
we
were
got to get
every
you
time I
9"?
got in trouble, I had to have a waiver.
Oh,
Every
I
time
see.
I ended
Okay.
up with anytime I ended up with a misdemeanor on my record, I had to give a waiver for it. Anytime I ended up in jail, I had to get a
Yeah.
waiver for it.
Okay.
But I'm not exactly sure what the waivers do. They're just some piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't get to have a better haircut than everybody else. Like, I
It's
didn't.
just
I
some
went
guy.
in with this. This is what I actually went in with this. I didn't
Oh,
have a
really?
beard. I had a mustache,
Yeah.
but no beard. But my hair was this long when I went into boot camp.
Wow. So you got the full
There was a guy in
effect
front
when
of me
they
had
cut
these
your
big
hair.
sideburns, and
Oh,
he was
nice.
right in front of me in the line for the barber.
Uh,
And I would just watch him. He sits down in the chair, and the barber says, "You want to keep those sideburns?" And the guy says, "Well, hell yeah!" And he shaved them off and threw them in his lap.
he said, "Here you go."
Said, "Here you go." Sorry about that. Get a little excited. I bumped my microphone.
Oh, that's pretty
Anyway,
good.
no, that actually is not a true story. I'm sure it happened somewhere, but it did not happen to me.
But it's a good joke.
So yeah, I was in Minneapolis and I joined the Navy to see the world, and I got to go to Chicago. Great
Well, I
Lakes,
mean,
great. We called it Great Mistakes Training Camp, and then I went from there to Rantoul, Illinois, to an Air Force base, which is no longer there. Chanute Air Force Base. It's right
okay.
next to Champaign, Illinois, right in the middle of
Oh,
Illinois.
yeah. Okay.
So here I am. I'm in Minneapolis, joining the Navy, see the world, and now I'm almost 500 miles from home.
Wow. Now, what was it that you signed up to do?
You know what? I had, as I mentioned, I decided I was going in the military for discipline. I'm going to
Mhm.
this is how I'm going to get self-discipline. The
Right.
military is going to give me self-discipline. And I went in on delayed entry. I signed up, raised my hand the day before Halloween. And I didn't get my
Oh,
hair cut
okay.
until January.
All right.
Okay. So 3,
Wow.
4 months delayed entry, however,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I had decided that this was 4 years that I was going to just hate so much. I mean, this is just me. I don't think people join the military with the attitude that they're going to hate it.
Right.
I just don't think that happens. It certainly doesn't happen very often. Certainly not anymore. But
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's what was in my head when I joined up. I said, I'm going to hate it. I'm going to be in prison. It's going to be a working prison camp for 4 years.
Right.
That's it. But I'm doing it because I want the results that I can only get from doing this thing. And because I knew that I was going to hate it, it did not matter to me what job they gave me. I don't care.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, it's kind of funny. I remember this is back in October, right? I'm dealing with whatever the guy's job is who goes through the jobs and helps you pick out what your career field is going to be.
Right.
And I sit down with him. I just finished taking the ASVAB test, right?
Yeah.
Armed Services something battery. Vocational aptitude battery.
There
Armed
it is.
Services Vocational Aptitude. There you go. I won that one 40 years later. I still remember. Anyhow, I was going to hate being in the Navy, and I knew this.
Uh-huh.
So it's in October. I'm in the delayed entry program. He says, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I don't know. What do you got?" I said, "This is what we need. I need to go in January because remember, I was an entertainer. I had contracts I had to fulfill.
Yeah,
I was booked for New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
I was booked for New Year's Eve. So I said, I can't go in until January, and I have to have 2 weeks off in July because the girl said she would marry me. And she set the date already. The date for our wedding was July 11th.
Okay.
So here I am, 24 years old, talking to the guy, going to get married on July 11th. And he says, "Well, do you want to do this job?" And I said, "Can I go in January and have 2 weeks off in July?" And he said, "Nope, they're going to keep you in school till Christmas. You go in January, but they're going to keep you in school till Christmas." I said, "I don't want that one. Throw it away." I think that was like nuclear submariner, something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, they started at some pretty high-end jobs.
Yeah. Well, you must have been pretty well on the
air traffic controller was like 5th or 6th on the list. So, and he started with the first one I qualified for, and he's working his way down.
Gotcha. Okay.
And he says, and then he gets to this one, he's 6th or 7th job, right? And it's my reaction is always the same. Can I go in January and have 2 weeks off in July? Nope, can't do it with that one. Okay, how about this one? Aerographer. I said, can I go in January and have 2 weeks off in July? And he says, oh, look, yes, you can. We can schedule that so you can have 2 weeks off in July. I said, fantastic. What is it? And that's where's my crow? Here's my crow over here.
Yeah.
The patch that had the shoulders patch.
Yeah.
That has the mark of what my rating is. That's on my back.
Okay.
And I would stand up and turn around and show it to you, but that would be impolite. It's always impolite to turn your back to the audience. Anyhow, aerographer. Fancy term for weather office. You start out as a weather observer, and then you graduate to aviation weather briefer, telling the pilots what the weather is going to be like, and then full-blown weather forecaster. In that order. So I was a weather observer, and then I had all the extra duties in my office. They appointed me to be. At one point I was a quality control petty officer. I had to make sure that every report was perfect because in the weather office you're talking code.
Yeah.
Right. Clear is not CLEAR. Clear is CLR.
Okay. Yeah.
And partly cloudy is never partly cloudy. It's scattered. And boy, if I can remember that, I think that's SCTR. Well, anyway, it's all code. And as a quality control petty officer, that's what they called me, the quality control petty officer. It was my job to look at every single report that was written by every single person in our office and make sure that they were correct.
Oh, wow.
So
now, how many people are in your office?
Well, there's always 24 hours a day. There's one weather observer. Okay. They work in 12-hour shifts, 12 on, 12 off, 12 on, 12 off. And so there's 4 weather observers. And then there's 2 aviation weather briefers. And then there's 5 people that work in the administrative end of it. There's a CO. And then there's office administration and there's a chief in there and all that stuff. And then of course you got a couple people who can float around and do everything. So when that guy wants to go on leave, they go fill in for him and stuff like that. Right. The relatively small office. I think we had 11 or 12 most of the time.
Yeah, that's pretty small. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty small. However, now we're talking about me being in the Navy. We get to talk about the fun stuff. I was also given the position for my last 2 years that I was there. I had the collateral duty. That's what they call them, right? Collateral duties.
Yeah, collaterals. Yeah.
So it was a collateral duty to be the quality control petty officer. It was also a collateral duty of mine to be the command physical fitness coordinator.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I was a personal trainer.
Yeah.
So that one I did for 2 years. And I have two right over here in that. Well, underneath the flag, there's a file cabinet.
Mhm.
In that file cabinet, there are 2 letters that are signed by admirals congratulating me because our weather, as a unit, the whole weather
Mhm.
office unit, scored higher on physical fitness testing than any other weather unit in the entire Navy. We did it 2 years in a
Wow.
row. Did it 2 years in a row, and I
Wow.
got letters from an admiral saying so.
That's pretty awesome.
As a matter of fact,
that means you were working the heck out of them.
I always, even before I knew how to say it, I was always somebody who wanted to work smarter, not harder. So I wasn't so much, and we had to deal with, I think we had 3 women in our office who took turns being pregnant. So I had to get women who just had a baby to pass the physical fitness test. So, I mean, I was always, let's study this. Let's make sure, let's figure out what your goal is. And I made everybody's exercise routine specific to every person.
Mhm.
Not everybody got the same blanket, which was really kind of unheard of in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was
mean-
doing Mike Metzger stuff before Mike Metzger was known for doing that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know who Mike Metzger is, but
I've heard of him.
he's not with us anymore. But he had a completely different method of bodybuilding, and he was actually in the Mr. Olympia contest the very last year that Arnold Schwarzenegger won it.
Oh, no kidding.
I think
Wow.
it was either 83 or 84. But Metzger's his method of bodybuilding is, we could do a whole segment. We could do 2 hours just talking about what Metzger says you're supposed to do to be a bodybuilder. Because he's talking about more than just exercise and getting in shape. He's talking about being a bodybuilder. Incidentally, we started this little thing here a couple minutes late. That was my fault because I was in the gym working out. I was doing my Metzger workout. And
nice.
you know how it is when you sometimes you just kind of get in the zone.
Oh yeah.
And that's what happened to me. It doesn't happen to me very often in the gym, but today it did. I got into a zone and it just kind of completely no concept of time whatsoever.
Yeah.
I ended up, never mind.
It's all good.
Yeah, I know it's all good, but we could spend too much time on that. Then we don't get to talk about the good stuff, like the book.
That's right. We got to get to the book.
I'm going through all of this stuff. And then I took my discharge from the Navy. I went on terminal leave about the same time that George Bush Sr. started launching bombs into Iraq from Kuwait.
Okay. Wow.
Desert Storm. Anyway, so I was on active duty during Desert Storm. So that's what I ride motorcycle an awful lot. You probably can't see that.
Yeah, I can't really make it out.
2 of those medals are from Desert Storm, and one of them is because I managed to do 4 years and get a good conduct.
Right. Yeah.
Which when I got it, I thought that's no big deal. And then I start asking around, and it turns out there's an awful lot of people that don't got one.
It's true.
There's a lot of really good people that don't have one.
Yeah.
So maybe it means a little bit more than I initially thought. But anyway, so I that's when I came home from the Navy, and then I stopped doing all. And all right, I'll tell you this story too. I really never tell this story when I'm talking on podcasts, and I talk on quite a few podcasts. But I'll tell it to you just because you got one of those faces.
Ooh.
One of those faces that says, "Open up to me. Tell me all kinds of deep, dark secrets."
Yeah. Let's
here's
keep
the
going.
deep, dark secret is that I came home from the Navy during Desert Storm. And 5 years later, I decided to get a job driving big trucks.
Okay.
So I got a Class A CDL, and I could drive big trucks. And I drove big trucks coast to coast, across the country. And I'd been driving big trucks for, I suppose, 2 or 3 months when I got I had to take a load through San Francisco over the Golden Gate Bridge and then on up into Washington.
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's my route. And I drove the big truck over the Golden Gate Bridge,
Right.
which, by the way, I don't mind saying, the very first time you go over the Golden Gate Bridge is it's more than the pictures tell you that it is. It's a big thing. That's quite
It's
an
huge.
experience. If you live there and you get to do it every day, yeah, you guys don't know. You don't know. You guys are just used to it. But if
Yeah.
you've never done it before, the first time you go across that bridge, that's more than a little something. Anyway, I went over that bridge and I looked out into the San Francisco Bay and I saw a Navy destroyer. And it was the first time I saw a Navy seagoing vessel with my own eyes.
No kidding.
No kidding. I saw all the
Wow.
airplanes. I saw all the airplanes. Because by the time it was over, I was doing the aviation weather briefing too. So all the pilots were talking to me. And, yeah. So that actually made my job really easy. So what am I doing all day long? I'm an enlisted guy talking to officers all day long. I'm not talking other enlisted people. I don't even talk to them. They're nowhere around. So that kind of made things a little bit different.
Yeah.
Anyway,
definitely unique because not everybody gets that
I came home
experience.
from the Navy. When I came home from the Navy, I remember I went in at 24, and I did 4 years in, and I came out at Desert Storm.
Right.
Which means I'm old enough to remember when the guys came home from Vietnam. I saw the guys coming home from Vietnam, and I saw what they had to deal with. When I came home from the Navy, nobody got to know where I was. People say, "Hey, where you been for the last couple of years?" Yeah, I had a job down in Texas.
Yeah.
I was just gone. Yeah. Nobody got to know that I was a veteran at all. I grew my hair out immediately, and nobody knew. I didn't tell I didn't start allowing people to see that I was a veteran until about 2012.
No kidding. Wow.
No kidding. It was there was that much, maybe a little, maybe I started doing it a little bit earlier than that, but I certainly didn't wear my rank. I didn't put this on my vest until 2017. But I had other little things on my that would allow people to know that I was a veteran.
Right.
But I went, what is that? 20 years?
Yeah.
More or less 20 years,
More,
91 to 12. Yeah, 21 years. I went 21 years without telling anybody I ever served in the Navy. Now, granted, there was a couple of marriages in there, and my current wife, who we've been together for almost 16 years. It'll be 16 years at the end of this month, as a matter of fact. She knew right away. But it was not open for discussion.
Yeah.
The fact that I was a disabled vet, nobody knows. We're not telling that. That's nope. I'm patriotic. I got a flag over there. I'm a big believer in Second Amendment. I got all kinds of guns over there. But no, we don't talk about my military experience at all. Nobody gets to know that I was in the service.
Yeah.
Until about 2013. This is kind of fun. We're just giving you my whole life story, and we haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet. And hopefully we're telling this in such a fashion that everybody's still listening. Wait a minute.
Oh,
the good stuff is coming.
Still listening.
Good stuff is coming. This guy was in the Navy, but he looks like a biker. Anyway, I think it was 2013. My wife has a very, very interesting job. She grew up in the Dominican Republic, which is in between Puerto Rico and Cuba, which means it's, that's where cigars come from.
Yeah.
So my wife actually rolls cigars at events where cigars might have a presence. She rolls cigars at wedding dances. She rolls cigars at private country club invitationals. She rolls cigars at whiskey tastings and tequila tastings and vodka tastings. Wherever cigars would have a fit, she is hired to go there and roll cigars and make cigars available for the people at the event. So she gets a phone call back in 2013. We're getting closer to today. We started in 1963. Now we're all the way up to 2013.
Close.
Anyway, she gets a phone call from a private country club down the road a ways. I can say the name of it out loud, can I? It's the Mendakota Country Club in Mendota Heights, Minnesota. It's a private club, and that's one of the golf courses that would call her on a very regular basis, 3-4 times a year. They would have an event where they needed her to come and roll cigars.
Right.
They called her up and they said, we are having a golf tournament to raise money for an organization called Tee It Up for the Troops. I don't know if you've ever heard of this one or not.
You said Tee It Up?
Tee It Up.
Okay.
So they all Tee It Up for the Troops does. They're a 501c3 charity organization, nationally recognized. All they do is have golf tournaments. They have them all over the country. And they raise money, and they spend that money by sending it to the troops that are deployed.
Oh, okay.
So troops need body armor that's not being provided. That's what they got started in, because there was a ton of body armor that was available, but it wasn't being provided for the troops in the Middle East. That's how they got started. One guy said, hey, my son's over there, and we got to do something to raise money to get them all bulletproof vests or something similar.
Yeah.
So that's how they got started. Anyway, in 2013, and they started in 2001 also.
Okay.
This is also where I met Lieutenant Colonel Bob Stephenson, retired United States Marine Corps. He and I met on this particular day. My wife turns to me and she says, well, you're a disabled vet. Why don't you come with me?
Okay.
This was in 2013. And I said, all right, I'll go with you. Because it's a little bit easier to tell people I'm a disabled veteran, but it's still not something. It's not a badge of honor that I wear everywhere.
Yeah.
But I said, yeah, all right, I'll go. So I went, we met Bob Stephenson, and the Tee It Up for the Troops people actually got in touch with another organization called Tribute to the Troops.
Okay.
Tribute to the Troops is a motorcycle club. Well, it's not a motorcycle club. It's a 501c3 charity, but they ride motorcycles one weekend a year to go see Gold Star families.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, I did not know what a Gold Star family was when I went to this golf tournament in 2013. But here I am standing there, and I've been riding motorcycles since Richard Nixon was popular.
That's a couple years ago.
A couple years ago. So when I was standing there with my wife and I heard the rumble of I heard them from 2 miles away. I said, that's a big group of motorcycles.
Yeah.
And they pulled right in. And then they came over and talked to us, and they told me what a Gold Star family was. And they said, we're going to ride and go see some Gold Star families tomorrow. Why don't you come along? And I said, I looked at my watch and I said, I got tomorrow off. I think I'll come with you. And I went with them, and we had 85 motorcycles pulled into a cul-de-sac, and the speaker of the organization goes up to the front door, opens front door, brings out this woman and 2 toddlers, preschoolers anyway, probably 2 and 4, 3 and 5, something like that.
Right.
So this is the spokesperson, the woman, and 2 children standing at the front door. And the spokesperson tells everybody there how she became a Gold Star widow.
Yeah. Wow.
And what had happened was, I'll tell you this really, really quickly. I'll try to do it really, really quickly. Too late. Anyway, what happened was, she was dating a guy in high school, and him and his best friend went in the Army on the buddy system. And they went over, they ended up in a hot zone someplace, and they were walking on a patrol, and the buddy stepped on a landmine, and he turned into that pink powder that we love to talk about.
Yeah.
So he's wearing his best friend.
Yeah.
And the short story is, he was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and put in a VA hospital in Los Angeles, California.
Oh, wow.
First of all, a couple points here. It is not a disorder. So we're not going to call it PTSD. We're going to call it PTS.
Right.
It is not a disorder at all. The second thing is, back in those days, and this was quite a while ago, because we're visiting in 2013. but we're talking about an event that took place in like 2002 or 2005 or something. Anyway, back in those days, post-traumatic stress, you got 60 days in the hospital. And then they said, don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way out. It's a little different now. I hope it's different.
It is.
And the other thing that was different back then is suicide was considered destruction of government property. Suicide in the military was considered destruction of government property.
That's wild.
So she gets cut off. Well, the bottom line is when they kicked him out of the hospital, he lasted on the streets for 6 days.
Oh, geez.
And then he became one of the proverbial 22 a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard this story, and I looked at that woman, and I watched 80 bikers dressed like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tattoos of teardrops and earrings dangling and cigarettes and cigars and sunglasses and the smell of burnt rubber and the smell of burnt oil and the loud pipes and the boots and the don't tread on me tattoos and all of this stuff. And I watched this group of 80 of these guys without a single dry eye in the place. Every one of them was in tears.
Wow.
I was in tears.
Yeah.
I was kind of standing over on the side because, I was a newcomer and I didn't know what was, and I was just trying to observe and trying to get it all figured out. But I watched those guys all open up their wallets and put that girl back to school because she was looking at being a welfare mom because the government cut her off without a cent.
Yeah. Because of the destruction of government property thing?
Yeah.
Is that,
because that's just the way they looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
Or they look at it the way they look at it now. I mean, it's understood now. I haven't gone through it, so I have to hypothesize, but I'm guessing that post-traumatic stress, in particular with veterans, is much more open and talked about.
Oh, yeah.
I know guys that took their own lives back when they came home from Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of guys took their own lives when they came back from Vietnam. And I know a lot of guys who didn't take their own lives, but they lived their lives so that it would be short.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, it's kind of, they're smoking 4 packs of cigarettes a day.
Yeah.
Okay. John Wayne just died of lung cancer. You're smoking 4 packs a day. I think we know the path that you're on.
Yeah.
Or they would be driving drunk all the time. The time. Alcohol was the greatest. It still is. Still is one of the greatest ways to self-medicate. So I saw this woman and I decided right then and there that Gold Star families were going to be my mission.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I had a conversation with somebody just the other day who was in the National Guard and she did 2 tours driving a convoy through through Iraq. Maybe it was Afghanistan. The location is less important, but she said she was part of the caravans over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, one of the things that people in the military do is they become really close friends with the guy serving right next to him. Their job is to protect him. His job is to protect them.
Right.
That's one of the things that becomes relatively common, and they become close friends. And one of the other things that they do, or one of the things that ends up happening, is they'll say, if something happens to me, do this.
Right. Yeah.
Deliver this letter, or take care of my kids, or do this. Please do this for me if something happens to me.
Right.
And the response is usually to reciprocate in kind. Okay, but if it happens to me, then you do this.
Right.
Well, when I talked to the woman who served in the convoys, she said that never happened. She says everybody was talking, and they all had cell phones. Everybody's talking to everybody at home, and it's not like it used to be in the olden days. Even when I was in, there were no cell phones.
Right.
There was no email.
Yeah.
There was no internet. So we relied heavily on snail mail, and that was even more current. It was even more important in Vietnam and in Korea before that, and in World War II before that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, I saw this woman with all these bikers who just paid for her to go back to college, and And I said, I'm going to take up the mantle of being everybody's best friend who ever served in the military.
Mm-hmm.
If there's somebody out there who says, if something happens to me, do this.
Yeah.
Well, something happened to them, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
ride motorcycles for the Gold Star Ride Foundation, GSRF. It says right there on the screen, GSRF. I'm the executive director of the charity organization. I ride my motorcycle, and I ride up to see and meet and honor and support Gold Star families, whether they be widows or children or brothers and sisters. My goodness,
Mhm.
the brothers and sisters, the Gold Star brothers and sisters are completely ignored by everyone.
Yeah.
You know, I got to go. I'm not sure where in the world you are, but you're in the Central Time Zone.
Yeah.
So you probably know where
Oklahoma.
Texas is.
Yeah. I'm with what the Texans consider North Texas. They consider Oklahoma North Texas.
You're in North Texas?
Yeah. Well,
that
I'm in
like-
Oklahoma, but that's just
Yeah.
what the Texans consider it. Yeah. But
Oh,
I was
man.
also told
I remember going
anything-
to a bar in Oklahoma about 40 years ago, before I even went in the Navy. I was
Yeah.
with a buddy. This is a completely inappropriate story.
That's
Is that okay?
Yeah,
We
that's
got a bunch of
perfectly
veterans
fine.
listening here, right?
That's correct.
This
yeah.
is a true story. I'm with two buddies. The three of us go into a bar, and this would have been 1982, 1983, something like that.
Okay.
We're in a bar somewhere near Lawton, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Somewhere
Yeah.
near there. No, I'm sorry, I got the town wrong. That's where we were staying, but we drove to Texas. So the first town that we got to when we crossed the state line, we're in Texas.
In Texas.
In a bar in Texas, and we go into the bar, we're all enjoying a beer, and a local comes up and strikes up a conversation. Hey, what are you guys doing here? Anyway, somehow we got to the point where the local said, I'm from Texas. And my buddy, whose nickname is Pork Chop, we lost Pork Chop a couple years ago. That was a sad loss for everybody that I knew and that knew him. We grew up together.
Yeah.
Pork Chop looked at him and he said, only thing in Texas is steers and queers, and I don't see no horns on you.
Oh, no.
We did not stay there for very long.
Yeah. I can understand that. Yeah.
I remember getting in the car, driving away, going, "What the were you thinking?"
It had to have been one of those moments when, like,
and step on their toes.
Yeah, when the music stops and everybody in the bar turns and looks at you, type of situation.
Oh man. Anyway, that was your fault because you said you're from North Texas in Oklahoma.
I apologize.
You reminded me of that story. I don't think I've thought of that story for 35 years. Anyway, so now I've been in Texas a lot. And I recently went to Austin. I was in the northern suburb of Austin, Texas, and I was visiting with this Gold Star mom, and she lost her son in the military. She lost her son, and I was there to honor and support her. And then we'd been sitting and talking for about an hour and a half. And sometimes these visits, they just go on and on. This was one of those weird ones where I was the only one there. There's oftentimes a group of motorcycles will follow me in, and we'll have a whole bunch of motorcycles go. But I was there all by myself. And we talked for about an hour and a half. And then in walks this big guy. He was 6'2", 6'3", easily 230, 240.
Wow.
And the woman says, yeah, this is my 15-year-old son. It's like, okay, the Cowboys got something to look forward to.
Yeah. 15-year-old. Jeez.
He had been she had two boys.
Yeah.
That was her whole family, two boys. One of them is killed.
Yeah.
This one is 5 years younger than his older brother. And I just stopped talking to her and I pulled him aside and I said, okay, look, I'm going to say some things to you here, and it's going to get a little bit weird maybe. And if it gets too weird, you just stop me and I'll stop talking.
Mhm.
But I'm here because you lost your brother. And he said, yeah. And I said, you lost the guy who was helping you with your algebra homework. He said, yeah. I said, you lost the guy who taught you how to hit a baseball. He said, yeah. I said, you lost the guy who taught you how to catch and throw a football. He said, yeah, that's the guy. I said, and nobody ever says anything to you. So, right now it's just me and you, and we're going to talk, and this is your moment for me to just praise you and do whatever we need to do.
Yeah.
So that you can have this moment, because you lost it. You've seen your mom go through all kinds of stuff. She's on the radio all the time. She's on the news. She talks about being a Gold Star mom. Gold Star moms get a lot of press.
Mhm.
But this Gold Star brother, he's lucky he gets to eat leftovers. So we made sure to go I went out of my way to make sure to pay extra attention to this
Mhm.
Gold Star brother. And that he's not the only one. I like to bend a lot of the rules when it comes to Gold Star siblings, because
Mhm.
brothers and sisters are just forgotten. Kids are remembered, parents are remembered,
Yeah.
spouses are remembered, but brothers and sisters are just forgotten. I
Yeah.
remember hanging out with a Gold Star sister. She lost her older brother. She was from Arkansas.
Mhm.
And she said she was going through such a depression that she didn't know what to do with herself. And I'm trying to make this palatable for the audience here, but
Yeah.
so I'm not going to give you too many specifics, but I'll tell you this. I called her 2 months later, right? We
Mhm.
spent 2 hours together, maybe hour and a half. I called her
Yeah.
2 months later and she said, I got an idea. I'm working for other families of fallen heroes. I put up this
Mhm.
memorial over here. I'm on the radio over here. I'm doing this, and they're working. She's working, and specifically working with a nonprofit organization to continue to help other people who went through the same thing that she did,
Yeah.
specifically the part where she got ignored.
Mm.
Now, the pain, I don't know how many brothers and sisters you have.
Well, there's 8 of us total. Yeah.
See, no wonder you went, oh my God, when I told you I had 13.
Well,
Well, there's
yeah, it's a
13
couple
of us.
more than what I got. So
Yeah, there's 13 of us. Anyway, which one would you like to just put in the ground and say, okay, this is what I'm ponying up so the American can be free. I'm just
yeah.
going to take one of my brothers and sisters and put them in the ground. And
Mhm.
that's my Annie. That's, you ante up at the beginning of the poker game, right? So
Right.
this is
Yeah.
my Annie. I'm going to take this one and put him in the ground. First of all, that's a
Mhm.
ridiculous thing for me to even say, but it
Yeah.
helps. But it does help to wrap your head around the notion of
Mhm.
what the work is that I'm trying to do.
Right.
So I'm out there, all what we talked about it before, the two soldiers walking together, and one says,
Mhm.
if something happens to me, do this.
Right.
Well, I'm out there doing it. So we do whatever the fallen hero would have done
Mm.
when it's time to go see these families. And I'm going to go off the top of my head, which means that I might not be completely accurate, but it seems to me, there are just under 180,000 Gold Star spouses in the United States right now.
Wow.
Just spouses. And most of these spouses are forced to live off less than $1,700 a month.
No kidding.
And if they have 3 kids, it doesn't matter. They still got to figure out a way to put ends together, make ends meet
Yeah.
on less than, I think it's 1653 is it's all averaged out and stuff.
Yeah.
Some are
Yeah.
higher,
Yeah.
some are lower. And Los Angeles gets more than Springfield, Illinois, and all kinds of weirdness gets
Yeah.
factored in. But yeah, so there's a great need. And that just talks about the spouses. That doesn't talk about moms and dads, sons and daughters, or
Mhm.
brothers and sisters.
Right.
And they all have stuff that they need. In I've been riding my motorcycle now since in 2018. I did my first motorcycle ride.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got home from that motorcycle ride, wait, before I say that, I can say in 2018, I did my first motorcycle ride. They laughed at me and they said, it'll never happen. When I told them that we needed to do a national Gold Star ride, we needed to go national with the ride. They just laughed at me and they said, it'll never happen. You'll never do it. And guess what? Day before yesterday, I came home from ride number 70.
Oh, wow.
70 in 7.5 years since 2018.
Wow.
Since 2018.
70. Is that what you said?
70. Yeah.
Wow.
So the very first ride, we're gonna have a little fun now. We're gonna talk about the specifics of the thing. So this is a book, and here's a picture in the book, and I'm gonna try to get this picture so you can kind of see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a black and white picture. Sorry about that.
No,
But
you're
that's
good.
a picture of the United States, and there's a squiggly line. The squiggly line is where I went on my motorcycle.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Pause it. Screen capture. There you go.
That was good.
When I got home from that ride, went out to dinner with some friends, and they said, hey, when's the book coming? You just did this ride. You were on the road for 8 weeks, 56 days.
Wow.
56 days of riding, just like 17,000 miles, 44 states, 64 Gold Star families in one ride. They said, when's the book coming out? And I said, well, I wasn't going to do a book. I got 300 hours of GoPro camera footage, all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
so I was going to make a documentary movie.
Yeah.
Well, documentary movie never happened, but the book did. So this is the first book. I started writing the second book like a week ago. So there will be a sequel because this one has all the stories of being on the road. And this is like, when I was on that road for 8 weeks, a couple of things. First, I always stayed in the crappiest hotel I could find.
Okay.
It was me and the cockroaches. And why? Because we got military guys over in the Middle East sleeping in the ground, sleeping in a hole they dug. If they can sleep in a hole they dug, I can sleep in the crappiest place I can find. So there was a mission to it. And so that's what I did. So there's a whole chapter in here on bad hotels. Really, really bad hotels. The motorcycle I rode in 2018 was 10 years old.
Okay.
And it didn't have very many miles on it. So I expected it to, treat me well. But in the first 14 days of that motorcycle ride, I was broke down 8 in different places.
No kidding.
Got to ride a day, broke down for a day, ride a day, broke down for a day. I was broke down 8 out of the first 8 days out of the first 14 that I was on the road.
Holy cow.
And that's when I got to find out just how wonderful the people who live in the United States are. Never mind. I don't care if you watch anything on it. First of all, don't watch the news because they're lying to you anyway. I'll tell you the truth.
I agree with that.
Except for that one story. But, most everything I say is the truth. And the news likes to talk about that guy was killed. That guy was raped. That guy was stolen from. The car was stealing. Never mind all that crap, because those stories are so few and far between in the real world. I traveled coast to coast. You saw the squiggly line. I traveled coast to coast for 8 weeks, 56 days. And the people I met, without question, every single one of them was the salt of the earth. Could not wait to give me a helping hand.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I broke down in Savannah, Georgia. I left Minnesota, went up through New York, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, come down the East Coast, zigzagging, making sure I hit all the states and doing all the thing. I make it to Savannah, Georgia. And I'm riding across South Carolina to get there in the rain. Every inch of South Carolina was in the rain. Pouring rain. I can't see. I'm going slow. Anyway, I finally get to the Georgia state line and the sun comes out. Beautiful. and I can start to see, and I wipe off my glasses, and I'm going down the road, and it's beautiful. And I look down at my gauges. I'm riding a Harley Davidson Ultra Classic, so
Okay.
all kinds of gauges and stereo and all that stuff. Look down at all my gauges, and they're all fogged over. Can't see anything.
Right.
Down the road I go, and I got like 50 miles down the road, and they start to clear up. I'm not quite to Savannah yet, but they're starting to clear up. And I see my alternate or my charging system gauge is pulling in at an 8, supposed to be at a 14. It's a 12-volt system, so it has to be above 12 volts. Anything below 12 volts, and I'm just running off the battery. And that's not a good place to be.
Yeah.
So I see this thing is sitting at an 8, and I'm going, crap. Because I've done this repair. I know how complicated this repair is.
Yeah.
I know how expensive it is. And at this particular time and place, I had a debit card in my pocket, just one. And I had no credit cards at all.
Right.
And I'm already pulling into the gas station, and I go in to ask the manager if he will donate a tank of gas to the charity before I pump it.
Oh, wow.
So this is the way that I'm living on this first ride, because the first breakdowns that I had enough money to go a long ways. First breakdowns that I had took it all.
Breakdowns.
Yeah, I didn't have any left. Anyway, I end up in the Harley Davidson dealership in Savannah, Georgia. And I get it to the service desk, and they say, all right, we'll bring it in. We'll take a look at it. Just go sit down over there for an hour. And I said, well, is the general manager here? I'd like to introduce myself to the GM, let him know what I'm doing. And it turned out to be a woman. And she gave me a personalized tour of the whole shop. This is where the clothes are. That's where they fix the bikes. That's where the used bikes are. That's where the news bikes are. That's where the meeting room is, all this stuff. And I tell her about I'm riding for Gold Star families. I'm covering the whole country. I'm doing this. And she says, oh, okay. And about an hour later, she says, well, let's go check on your bike. So she and I went together to the service desk, and the service manager comes out. He's got 2 pieces of paper in his hand stapled together. It's never a good sign if there's 2 pieces of paper.
Okay.
He said something like, the back tire's got cords coming out of it. The front tire is on backwards. The rear brakes are shot. The alternator is spent. The voltage regulator is spent. And the rotor, the stator and the rotor are both toast. So they both need to be replaced. And there was one other thing. I can't remember what it was. Something. And every time he said something that was wrong with the motorcycle, I felt myself just getting shorter. It's like, oh no.
Wow. I mean, that's
And he gets all done. He gets all done reading off all of these things that are wrong with the motorcycle. And I said, oh my God, what's the total? And he says, $1,856. It was over $1,800. I don't remember the exact number. It was over $1,800. And I just about fell on the floor. I felt my knees getting weak. I felt myself getting, and then the manager, the GM that's standing next to me, says, get it done. We're covering the whole thing.
Wow.
Don't tell me we don't have good people living in this country. That happened again and again and again. Now, that was probably the biggest one, but that happened in Butte, Montana. That happened in San Antonio, Texas. That happened in Oregon, Bend, Oregon. It happened in Bend, Oregon. It happened in Buffalo, New York. It happened in Wisconsin. It happened in Minneapolis 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
And it happened in Kansas City. And these are just the ones I can remember off the top of my head. It happens all over the place. It happened in Lubbock, Texas. I don't know. Again, I know you're in the central time zone, but you're in Oklahoma. Well, that's not too far from Lubbock, is it?
Oh, it's not too bad. A couple hour, maybe. Well, Lubbock. Let's see. That might be a little further.
Lubbock has a spectacular park dedicated to veterans with memorials and fallen heroes. Names are listed. It's really, really breathtaking. I met a Gold Star mom while I was there. And the Wild West Harley Davidson, that's what they're called, Wild West in Lubbock, Texas. They took care of me there. And you want to hear that story? Okay, I'll tell you. Because this is one of the best stories. There's so many stories now. So many stories. We see, this is why we should have started at this end and worked our way to the other end. Instead of starting at the other end and working our way to this end. Anyway, this is the way this story went. I wanted to get on the news in San Diego, California. To get on the news, I decided to do a stunt. The stunt I was going to perform was riding my motorcycle from the Atlantic Ocean in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, to San Diego, California, in 2 days.
Oh, God. Oh, my.
For those of you who don't know very much about the geography of the United States, that's 2,700 miles. Incidentally, Texas, on that trip, 2,700 miles, Texas is 900 miles. It's 1/3 of the whole thing.
Just Texas. Yeah.
Just Texas. And I got stories about Texas too, but we're going west. Okay, so we get out there, and I didn't make it, by the way. I ran into a haboob. You know what a haboob is, don't you? You're close enough to the Rocky Mountains, right?
Are you? What'd you say?
Sandstorms, the sandstorms that come off the
Rocky
Mountains.
Okay. Yeah.
Haboobs. I ran into a haboob that started in Phoenix, Arizona, and I was still 200 miles from El Paso. So 500 miles to go in a sandstorm that I couldn't see the road in front of my motorcycle. So I didn't make it. I stopped in Van Horn, spent the night there, got up next morning, took off. I'm on my way back, right? So I visited Gold Star families. I think I saw 27 Gold Star families on this from Florida to California and back trip.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm driving across New Mexico. New Mexico I love New Mexico. I really do. You know what? The first thought I have when I think about New Mexico is all the people who think that the earth is overpopulated. Really? You think it's overpopulated? Go to New Mexico. See if you can find another human being.
That is
There's
true.
Space. There's lots of space in New Mexico. I love New Mexico. The geography is wonderful. The people are fantastic. It's phenomenal. And I'm tooling down the road eastbound across New Mexico. I just crossed the Arizona-New Mexico state line, somewhere in there. And I'm on a 2-lane road, U.S. Highway 60, 1 lane that way and 1 lane that way. And I'm tooling, and there's no traffic, and the sun is shining, and it's 85 degrees, and it's the first week of March. This is the first week in March. So anyway, this was the first week in March that this was happening. And I've got my feet up and I've got my stereo on and I'm going 85 miles an hour and I'm just loving it. All of the sadness that I had to deal with all of the Gold Star families that I had to meet with and that I will meet with, was all being left in the wind. This was a perfect scenario for riding motorcycle. Everything about it was just phenomenal. Rocky Mountains over there. I would think the elevation where on the road that I was at was 5,000 feet. I think. Oh, wow. I could be wrong about that. Anyway, I'm tooling down the road. Everything is beautiful. It's about noon, and I know the street signs. I look at the street signs, and I see these little towns that go through this. I went through a little town called, I think it was called American Pie. Town of town of about 30 people. Anyway, I met 2 Vietnam veterans there. We made a day of it. Anyway, down the road, I'm tooling down the road. And the motorcycle throws a code. It threw a code. And what that means is the computer on the motorcycle thought something was happening on the motorcycle that required it to not go faster than 15 miles an hour. For fear that they call it limp mode. Yeah. So the computer throws the code and the motorcycle goes into limp mode. They call it that so you can limp home and fix it. Right. Right. So the computer throws a code. Now the computer only monitors the engine. Only the engine. Something in the engine tells the computer no faster than 15 miles an hour. So I stop on the side of the road. I look around, and what's the code? Oh, the code is whatever the code was. I don't remember. I get out my telephone so I can look it up. I can Google it, except there's no signal. I got no signal on my phone.
I was about to say,
I should have a real problem. I got no signal on my phone, so I can't Google it to find out what it is. And I look around me, and the only thing I can see that's man-made is the road I'm standing on. There's no telephone poles. There's no barns. There's no silos. There's no farms. There's no nothing. The only thing man-made is the road I'm standing on, as far as I can see. So, the town behind me, I know I just went through a town behind me 25 miles ago. 25 miles ago. But that town only had 50 people in it. There's no way I'm getting my motorcycle fixed back there. Besides, I need to go that way. What's that way? The next town is 50 miles in front of me.
Oh, God.
75 miles between towns. Tell me again how we're overpopulated. 75 miles in between towns. Anyway, I got no choice. 15 miles an hour. All the way to that next town. And the next town was Fort Sumner. Fort Sumter. It's where Billy the Kid is buried.
Yeah.
That's where, and then I pull in a gas station, get out my phone. All right. There's no place I can find on my maps. There's no place that will fix a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So I find a tow truck. Call him up, and he says, yeah, I'm the only tow truck in town. I'll take you any place you need to go, but you're not going to fix that motorcycle anywhere around here. I said, where do we got to go? He says, you can either go 100 miles south to Roswell.
Yeah.
Or 175 miles east to Lubbock.
Oh my God.
I said, well, I got a Gold Star family that's waiting for me in Lubbock right now. I'm supposed to be there today. So I call up the Gold Star family and tell them we're going to have to meet tomorrow.
Yeah.
He says, yeah, I'll take you to Lubbock. So he shows up with his tow truck. And when he gets there, I said to him, wait a minute, before we load this thing up, 2 blocks ago, right over there, 2 blocks ago, right on the edge of town. The town was only 3 blocks long.
Yeah.
I felt the back tire jump as if I hit a rock or a pothole. But the front tire didn't jump. And I'm only going 15 miles an hour. I didn't see anything. Didn't see anything on the road. But I felt the back of the motorcycle. I felt it jump. And he says, oh, let's check that out. And he laid down on the ground. Just laid down on the ground next to the motorcycle. Reaches up under the saddlebags in the back wheel, and he walks over to me, and he grabs my hand, and he sprinkles these little teeny tiny black things in my hand. They were about that big. little black pebbles, little teeny tiny ones.
Yeah.
Just a little bit bigger than a grain of sand. I said, what's that? He said, that's what's left of your wheel bearings. I said, really? Huh. Okay, now let's do a little bit of backtracking here. The computer throws a code. I'm only allowed to go 15 miles an hour.
Yeah.
The computer does not monitor the wheels. If the computer does not throw a code, I'm going 85 miles an hour. My hands are probably not on the handlebars. My feet are up, and I'm listening to the music at 85 miles an hour. And that bearing would have been a catastrophic failure. Back wheel falls off. And there was no other cars on that road. So when they found me, might have taken a day or two. When they found me, they would have picked me up off the highway with a spatula. Incidentally, New Mexico is also a no helmet law state. Yeah. So I'm not, this is my helmet right here. I'm not wearing a helmet in a no helmet law state.
Yeah.
So that would have been really, really nasty. Anyway, we load the thing up and we drive to Lubbock, and we get to know each other really, really well. He's still a friend of mine. I know he's got 3 kids and his wife. They're a beautiful family. They live in Fort Sumner, and we still get along, and everything is still wonderful. And it's been a couple years since we met. But, you know, you spend 3.5 hours with the guy in a truck.
True.
You're going to get to know him. That's just kind of the way that works. So we get it down to, we didn't make it to Lubbock until like 10 o'clock at night. Drop off a motorcycle over there. He takes me to the hotel. I put a note on the motorcycle with my phone number. The next morning, my phone rings. What are we doing to this motorcycle? Fix the wheel bearings. and fix whatever made the engine say it could only go 15 miles an hour. He says, okay, we're on it. You got something to do? I said, yeah, I'm busy. I call up Gold Star Family. We go to that park I talked to you about.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful place. 3.5 hours later, we're all done. She gives me a ride back to the Harley Davidson dealership. We pull up into the parking lot. My motorcycle is parked in the parking lot. And I thought,
Okay.
And I walked up to the service manager and I said, my motorcycle's still out there. He said, oh, yeah, we're done. I said, great. What'd you do? He said, well, we put in new wheel bearings in the back wheel. Man, were they toast. And I said, yeah, and he said, and we checked the front and they were pretty shot too. So we put in new front wheel bearings too. I said, great. What else? He said, nothing. I said, what do you mean nothing? Nothing. We couldn't find anything else wrong. I said, did you not check for the code? He said, yeah, we checked for the code. There wasn't one. I said, did you look at the computer's history? Because the computer keeps history of all codes.
Yeah.
He said, yep, looked at the computer's history. No code.
Somebody was watching out.
This was 3 years ago. This is where I've ridden that motorcycle.
Holy moly.
There, that's the United States. The line represents every place I've been on my motorcycle.
Wow.
I just finished ride number 70.
Yeah.
Incidentally, this was going coast to coast, right?
Uh-huh.
I believe that was somewhere in the neighborhood of ride number 38.
Wow.
Mid-30s.
Yeah.
And that code has never come back. I just got off the motorcycle. I was in Florida riding down there to see Gold Star Families in Florida just 2 days ago. That code has still not come back.
Wow. Do you remember what code it was?
No.
No.
Wow. Don't remember. Somebody asked me once, they fixed a motorcycle and they said, here, you want this bad part? And I said, no, I don't keep it. I don't keep reminders of failures. So no, I don't remember what that code was, but I know that really happened. Yeah. And I know that means something bigger than humans is watching me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something bigger than humans is thinking that I'm doing something I'm supposed to do. I'll tell you another quick little story. 14 months ago today was the day after Christmas, December 26th, 2024.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? 14 months ago. December 25th, me and my wife have Christmas with her family. Everybody opens presents. It's a wonderful little experience. December 26th, we are going to fly to the Dominican Republic to have Christmas with her family, her sisters and her mom and dad, because they all still live there. So I take her to the airport at 5 a.m. Then I drive to the VA hospital in Minneapolis, and I park my vehicle at VA hospital where it's free. And then I walk to the train, and I get on the train because I'm a disabled veteran. It's also free. And the train gives me a ride back to the airport. So nice. Everything's good. I get to the airport. I go through security. I go to the gate. I find my wife. She's there waiting for me. We're sitting there. We're waiting for him to call our zone. 15, 20 minutes later, they call our zone. It's time for us to go get on the airplane. We stand up and I look at her and I say to her, would you mind going on this trip by yourself? And she said, what's wrong? And I said, nothing. Just something says I'm not supposed to go. I'm just not supposed to go. She says, where does it hurt? Are you experiencing anything? No. Everything's fine. I just have a hunch I'm not supposed to go. She says, oh, okay. She goes up to the gate and gives up our tickets, comes back and walks with me back to the train. We take the train back to the VA hospital. It's only 2 stops. This is very, very quick. It's like 3 minutes and we're there. We get to the hospital. We walk up to the truck. We open up the door. We throw our suitcases in, close up the truck and keep walking. And we walk right into the emergency room at the VA hospital.
Okay.
And I walk up there. There's nobody in there. It's 5:30 in the morning, 5:45. There's nobody in there. Walk up to the ER nurse, and she says, what's wrong with you? And I knew I couldn't say nothing.
Mhm.
I couldn't say, I have a feeling I'm supposed to be here. No, they want to have physical stuff. So what I said was chest pains. That's all.
Yeah.
Chest pains. Chest pains. Boy,
Yeah. Oh
people
yeah.
came out of the
Yeah.
walls, man. I had within minutes. I was strapped to a gurney and had an EKG on me and an X-ray machine over here, and it's amazing. Anyway, it took them 9 hours. They kept coming in. Can't find anything. Can't find anything. Can't find anything wrong with you. Can't find. Guy comes in about 3:00 in the afternoon. Doctor, he says, I'm one of the doctors here, and we're pretty sure what you're dealing with is acid reflux disease. I said, oh, okay, great. Give me a Tums. Let me go home. Acid reflux, your stomach makes too much gas and makes you burp a lot, and it burns. It gives you heartburn.
Yeah.
That's what it
Heartburn.
is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
heartburn. They said, great, give me a Tums. Let me go home. And just at that moment, an older doctor comes walking into the ER room that I'm laying in. And my wife is sitting there, beautiful, patient. That's how I know she loves me. She sat there for the whole thing. This other doctor walks in and he says, because of your age, we're going to try one other test. And they stick me in this little machine and they do this other test and they put me back in the ER. And that old doctor walks in and he slaps me on the foot. That's what they like to do when they want your attention. He slaps me on the foot and he says, okay, you've been admitted to the hospital. I said, yeah. He says, yes, you're going to have an emergency CT angiogram first thing tomorrow morning. I said, huh, what's that? Next morning, doctor comes in and says, we had an emergency. We got somebody else that he is worse than you. And he came in overnight. So we're going to take care of him. As soon as he's done, you're on the table. You're the next one going in for surgery. And he says, do you want us to cut you open in the middle? Or do you want us to go through veins in your arm? And I said, which one has a longer shelf life? And he says, pretty much going to be about the same. I said, then I want the one with the fastest recovery time. He said, okay, we'll go through your arm. So they shaved my groin because they're going through my arm. So they got to shave that, shave that area down there. Anyway, they put in 2 stents that day. And the doctor comes into the recovery room where my wife is still sitting there.
Yeah.
And he comes in and he says, okay, we put in 2 and we want you, now it's Friday, the 27th of December. He says, we want you to come back on Tuesday. You can't come on Monday because Mondays were always too busy. Everybody comes in all weekend and Mondays were just swamped. So come in on Tuesday. So I'm there at 8:00. I drove myself in at 8:00 on Tuesday morning. I'm not sure what he wants me there for, but 8:00 in the morning. And the short version of the story is they put me back on the table and they gave me 2 more. But 4 stints. And they said, want to see the before and after pictures? And I made the mistake of saying, yeah, sure. Boy,
oh my gosh.
I wasn't afraid of any of it until I saw the before and after pictures.
Yeah.
Because I had 4 arteries going into my heart that were shut down. Nothing was going through them. 4 of them. And they're all open up now.
Wow.
And they're all open up now. So, and I'm still riding and I'm still going to see the Gold Star families. And I'm still hawking my book. Yours very sincerely and respectfully. There's some really great stories in there about the Gold Stars that I met on that first ride. And the sequel, when I get it done, is going to have a lot more great stories in it. Because, and there's so many stories I haven't even told you that I want to tell you right now. But I know I know we have to watch the clock.
Oh, man. Well, we could always have you.
Nothing about you.
You don't need to know anything about me. It's all about you, man. It's all about you.
Well, listen, you're the host, so there's got to be something.
Well, I mean, I could tell you all kinds of things about me, but I don't know if you want to sit here and listen to it. I don't know. Well,
listen, I told you those 2 pretty awesome stories of how I should have been dead. The truth of the matter is, there's probably 12 to 15 I should have been dead stories in the last 7 years.
Wow.
I was on a freeway in New York City. I was leaving New York. It was actually in New Jersey. I was headed south toward Baltimore and Washington. I get those cities mixed up. I was south of New York City. I was in New Jersey. There was a
Yeah.
4 or 5 lane freeway. I'm in the far left lane, and traffic comes to a stop. You know how
Okay.
sometimes
Yeah.
happens. Turns into a parking lot, and I stop behind the car in front of me, and I always make it sure that there's enough room for me to zip around.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm stopped right there, and as a good motorcyclist that I am, all of you good motorcyclists out there will know that when you're in this situation, you're in gear and you're holding the clutch. You
Mm-hmm.
never put it in neutral. You never take your hands off the handlebars under these circumstances.
Right.
And I start watching my rearview mirror. See in my rearview mirror, shit, that car doesn't look like it's going to stop. It's really coming after me. Oh, shit. Boom. Let out the clutch, hit the gas, went up in the lane on the stripe of the highway between the car in front of me and the car in the next lane over. Shot right in there. And I hear this. And that car that was coming up behind me missed the car that I was behind by that much.
Wow.
I would have been toast.
Yeah.
That one I get to say that was a motorcycle skill that saved me on that one. But when I hit the deer at 70 miles an hour,
Oh my God. Are you serious?
I am. There's videos of the aftermath on social media, goldstarride.org. Go there. You can look at our video page. There's all kinds of stories. There's stories with Gold Star families. There's all kinds of stories. And there's about a 90-second video clip of all the damage that was done to my motorcycle when I hit the deer. I hit the deer at 70 miles an hour, and I didn't even bother to lay it down. Not a scratch. Google motorcycle hits deer 70 miles an hour, and you'll get a list of everybody who died.
Wow.
See, I'm telling you,
Well, you're
things
here
happen,
for a purpose.
and I have now. I mean, I'm to the point now where I'm looking forward to my next motorcycle breakdown because I can't wait to meet the next person that's going to come out of the woodwork and show me how great the human being they are because they want to help me.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the next motorcycle incident, motorcycle close call, because I'm a firm believer that when your number's up, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
The only exception to that is when somebody else decides to take your number for you, or you get shot.
Yeah. Right.
Little stuff like that. You go hunting with the former vice president, and he shoots you. I can't remember which vice president that was. Cheney, wasn't it? Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
Dick Cheney was vice president for 8 years, and he went hunting with a buddy. That was a friend he shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine what he would do if he didn't like you. Well,
So
we're going to
those are
hunt
tough
for deer.
friends
And we're
right
going to
there.
use slugs instead of birdshot. Anyway, we digress. The name of the organization is the Gold Star Ride Foundation, and we ride motorcycles all over the country to take care of Gold Star families. The next ride that we're going to do that other people can join us with is going to be in April, when I'm going to get on my motorcycle in Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
I might go down to Miami first, and we're talking with the Gainesville, Florida Harley Davidson about having some kind of a kickoff party there, and then we're going to ride all the way up the Eastern Seaboard. We got Gold Star families to see in South Carolina, North Carolina, West Virginia, New Jersey, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Maine, Massachusetts. I don't think we have any in New York this time around. And then we're slowly going to make our way west to be kickstands down in Minneapolis. And the idea is to be kickstand. This trip will be a 2-week adventure.
Okay.
This will be ride number 71. It'll be a 2-week adventure. And I think that we are going to see somewhere in the neighborhood of 22 Gold Star families on this 2-week adventure. And then after that, we got to start getting ready for our fundraising activities, which take place in June. we're doing the Donnie Smith Bike Show in March. We are doing something in May. We're doing a ton of stuff in May. Anyway, the best way to figure out what we're doing is go to goldstarride.org and click on Ride With Us. I think that's what the tab is. Ride with us, and we love it. Absolutely love it when people can come and ride with us, especially when we are going to visit Gold Star families. I mentioned earlier I went to see a couple of them when I was the only guy there. I've done a lot of them where I was the only guy there, and I've done the one that I did one in Maryland, what suburb of Washington D.C. When we pulled up with 116 motorcycles, and that was really cool. But I tell you what, when we get there, the Gold Star families are just as happy if I'm all by myself as they are if I've got 100 motorcycles with me. Yeah. I've seen it both ways, and we just do it. We just keep on keeping on. That's just what we do.
Yeah. I love it. Now, if somebody wants to ride along or somebody wants to support, they can find all that info there at goldstarride.org, correct?
Yes. But before we leave, goldstarride.org, everything is there. This is at Gold Star Ride also, but I'm going to hold it up because this is our big fundraiser in June. We've decided that we're going to have a golfing fundraiser in June. This is our first time doing the golf thing. But what we're doing is collecting sponsors and people who want to golf in foursomes. We're going to a private club, a private country club in a suburb of St. Paul, Minnesota. The club has agreed to close down for the membership and only be open for us.
Wow.
And it's not a tournament, it's a golf outing. Because right now I think we're up to 11 NFL Hall of Famers, baseball Hall of Famers, movie stars. We've got some big tickets, and we're going to put one with every one of the foursomes.
Very cool.
So the details of this are also on the website. I think it's under Golf With Us, maybe. Anyway, this is we're very, very excited about that. But we have room for a few more golfers. So unfortunately, we do not provide airfare to and from Minneapolis. The idea is that we're trying to raise money. So if you want to help us raise some money and throw some our way, we'd love to have you. We're also going to do the details of this should be on the website as well. We're doing a national on your own ride to raise money for the Gold Star Ride Foundation. And this is a 250-mile self-designed ride. Anybody can ride anywhere in the country. You sign up for it online, and then you ride 250 miles. Why? Because the country's going to be 250 years old on the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
The Marines were 250 years old last November.
Hey, so were the sailors and the Army. They had a birthday.
I think the Army turned 250 last year too.
Yeah, so did the Navy. Navy did too. Yeah.
Yep. But anyway, the country will be 250 years old on July 4th. So for 2 weeks leading up to the 4th of July, anybody in the country can plot out where they want to go, take a picture of your odometer, take a picture of your gas receipts, tell us where you went. That's how we're doing that ride. And I'm going to ride 250 miles 2 days before the golf outing.
Nice. All right.
Nice. Anyway, you had a pet with you on your lap at the beginning of this interview.
I did. Yeah, my cat comes to visit, or one of 7 cats comes to visit.
My puppy just came down. Come on, come here. But my puppy is old and kind of blind a little bit, and she doesn't want to jump up in my lap, so I can't introduce you.
That's okay. I understand.
I can pick her up, and you can hear her growl. Anyway,
I don't know. You may have heard my dogs over here snorting and stuff. I have a English bulldog and a French bulldog, so they're pretty loud.
I don't know if you noticed this or not, but for the last couple hours, I've been doing all the talking, so I haven't done any listening.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah. Well, I've done a lot of listening, so I listened enough for the both of us.
Well, I think that's spectacular. I've come to the point where I really like telling the story. I like sharing with people the things that we do with the Gold Star Ride Foundation.
Yeah.
It just started out being something that I felt for me personally, for me to sleep well at night, I wanted to have this project as one that I get to say that we do and we have done and we continue to do.
Yeah. I love it. It's fantastic. But goldstarride.org, and they can anybody can go there, check it out, and ways to help. It's all there. You want to go do some golf or ride alongs or anything like that, it's all there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or you can buy the book.
Oh yeah.
You can buy the book at the website. You can also get it at Amazon, and I believe you can get it at barnesandnoble.com. But if you buy it from Amazon or at if you buy it from the big bookstores, I will not sign it. If you buy it from our website, I will sign it before I mail it out.
And that's the goldstarride.org is where they can find
goldstarride.org also there. Yeah. You know what else you can get there? You're a Marine, so you can get this. It says, my DD-214 can kick your MBA's ass. Now, mine has been on this vest for a while. I've ridden in the rain and the snow, and it's kind of hard to make. Wait, I think I have one here in my pocket.
That's pretty good.
There, see that one you can read nice and easy.
Yeah, that's nice.
So a $10 donation on the website will get you one of those.
Very nice. Very nice.
And if you don't know what a DD-214 is, you can't have one.
Good point.
Yeah, we like to, believe it or not, we have to deal with a tremendous amount of sorrow and personal pain.
Yes.
A tremendous amount. So I have to be a smartass. Because
gotta have a coping method.
Otherwise it would become it's contagious. Being depressed and sad is contagious. And if I'm not constant smartass, then I get in trouble. And my wife has caught me like that. She's come to me and said, I don't know what you're doing, but you better change because you're a little too sad. You're going down a slope here, and you need to stop and come here. Here you go.
Oh man.
You need to go outside. Oh yeah.
You heard that.
Good timing, huh?
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for coming on here. I much appreciated. I love what you've got going on with the organization. And if there's any way I can help you guys out, please let me know. I'll do whatever I can.
So. I'm always telling people whenever they say, if there's anything else I can do for you, I'm always looking for that paper bag that's got $6 million in cash in it.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I find it,
or if you don't find it, just, you can write a check and send it to us through snail mail. Eventually I'll get it. That'll be fine.
Okay.
That'll be fine. I'll be okay with that.
Preferably,
the truth of the matter is, and I hate to say this out loud, but the truth of the matter is we probably have to say no half the time. And mind you, we never make first contact with the Gold Star family. Never. Because I'm not getting a knock on the door, some strangers saying, I heard you had a funeral. Yeah, so we never ever make first contact. They always have to contact us first, but we're still saying no to half of them because we don't have the money.
No kidding. Wow.
And 85% last year, 85% of all the money brought in was given back out to Gold Star families.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's why we're trying golf this year. If it was a perfect world, we would be if it was a perfect world, we would never say no.
Yeah. I agree. Holy cow. Well, you guys are doing freaking God's work, in my opinion. So thank you for what you're doing.
Appreciate that. That's very nice to hear.
Yeah, I love it. Well, shoot, we can go ahead and wrap this one up. Is there anything else that maybe you want to hit before we conclude?
You know what? I introduced you to the dog. Dog's name is Bella.
Bella.
So I don't think there's anything else.
Okay.
Come golfing with us. Come riding the 250 with us. Buy a copy of the book. Buy a copy of the patch. Make a donation. All of those things are wonderful ideas at goldstarride.org. And that's all I got.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for coming on here. The token squid, he's here. I appreciate everything that you do. And then I'll close this one the same way I always do, talking about veteran suicide. But don't hang up on me whenever I do this outro. Stick with me. I'll bring you back here in a second. But to everybody out there, if you're struggling, you need help, don't forget the VA does have some good resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255 or go to veteranscrisisline.net, click on that chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life lost is one too many. I care about you. I know the token squid here cares about you. And the whole veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies you served with. Ask them how they're doing. If they need that helping hand, please give it to them. All right. With that, one last time, thank you very much. Much appreciated. To everybody out there, stay motivated. Change your socks.
No more 22. On to the journey and finish the fight.